Paul A. Presenza, and I am here with
Jonathan A. Moody.
And welcome to yet another Short Review Thursday. And today we are doing, where's the box?
Well, where did the box?
Oh, there it is. We're doing a movie called Kiss of the Damned.
Kiss of the Damned!
Which is a movie that was written and directed by Xan Cassavette, who is the daughter of Xan Cassavette, famous artsy New York director who made all sorts of great films like Killing the Chinese Bookie and just a whole bunch of other stuff. And then she's also the sister of Nicholas Cassavette, right?
Nick Cassavette, who has done a lot of movies.
Right. So this is a genre film, which is interesting because we had talked about how Xan Cassavette never really did a sort of a genre film. He was, that just wasn't his thing. So we wondered if perhaps this was just her way of sort of, beating her own path, so to speak. And it is a vampire film, and it's very similar to a couple other films that I had seen. Visually, it reminded me a lot of The Hunger, where you have a lot of very aristocratic, rich vampires, and there's lots of classical music and opera, and people with very sumptuous tastes sort of floating above the regular people. And then it reminded me of Abel Ferrara's The Addiction, where the whole idea of a vampire being addicted to blood, and that's what's driving their behavior. Mm-hmm. So it kind of reminded me very much of both of them, and then it also has its own sort of thing going on too, and it was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty well done. What did you think?
I thought it was great. I thought it had so there were some slow moments to it, some stuff that I was kind of bored with, and especially in the beginning, it kind of was a little slow to start with. We were kind of, it was getting you into the characters and stuff and getting you to know the characters. Milo, I butcher his name all the time. Vinta McGillia? I don't know.
Played Paolo.
Yeah, he's wonderful. I've seen him in Gilmore Girls, and he was Rocky's son. And
yeah, I know I'd seen him many, many times. I just couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Low battery.
Oh, great.
That just...
Now. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So
technical difficulties.
Sorry. So there was that. We didn't know who he was, but we knew who he was. We've seen him before, but we didn't know who he was like that.
Yeah. So basically, he's a writer who goes off to wherever this little town is, I guess near New York City. And he's out there to get away from distractions. Unfortunately, he runs into a distraction because he sees this beautiful woman there, and he becomes obsessed with her, as guys usually are. And I
think even more so than normal.
Yeah, more so than normal. I think she puts the whammy on him, and then he starts following her around and tries to figure out where she is. And first she wants him to be there, and then she's pushing him away. No, you have to stay away. And they end up kissing through a door that's chained, so you can only go in that much. Mm. And then she freaking bites his ass, and he's like, oh, okay, and he leaves, and that doesn't deter him at all, and so he decides he's got to see her again the following night, and so she leaves the door open for him, and she basically tells him that she's a vampire, and he's like, oh, come on, there's no such thing as vampires. And she's
of course, that's what all they always say. Which, I guess...
Just you wait.
I guess if some chick told me she was a vampire and everything. But wait, does it have to be the neck that they bite? Because she bit him in the fucking tongue.
Yeah, she did.
So I don't know, did that turn him? Does that not turn him?
Wherever the blood comes from. But she makes him chain her to the bed, and she's like, just don't get too close to my mouth. And then she gets all vampire-y.
Eventually she fucks him and then bites him.
Yeah, and he of course, because he's obsessed, and even though she's a vampire, he unlocks her and lets her go, and rather than just slaughtering him, she turns him into one of them because she's in love with him. Now I guess that's their characters were fated to meet or something like that, and they're all doing this for love. But there's this other thing because her sister shows up. And her sister casts, aspersions on the whole thing, ridiculous. You're a vampire. There's no such thing as love for vampires, and you make fun of me for the decisions I make, and you're making a bad decision. And
exactly, there's a little bit of that scene in there.
And so that's pretty interesting. But they're trying to figure things out. But it turns out that there's this society of vampires that are there, and they are trying not to feed on human beings. They have synthetic blood, and they're talking about how their civilization is sort of at the beginning, and that they can be something bigger and better. But even so, we can still learn a lot from humans, so we shouldn't be killing them, and blah, 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 blah. And Mimi, who's the sister, on the other hand, doesn't seem to really go with any of that. She's more like, I'm a vampire, I'm going to go out and hunt and kill because that's what I do. And
I'm a vampire, I'm a vampire.
And anybody else who doesn't believe that is just fooling themselves. And that ends up coming to pass because not only is she a pain in the ass to everybody, but she ends up pretty much going to the head vampire's place, which we initially thought was Gina Rollins, but
Not Gina
Rollins, was Xan Cassavette's.
Actually, I originally thought it was Gina Rollins, and her voice over the phone. Then we saw her, and we're like, "Oh, that must be Xan Cassavette's," and it was Anna Margulies. Margolis, yeah. I think, yeah. So Anna Margolis, who was wonderful, she was great, and then she became like kind of like the drug pushed on her and everything.
Right.
Stuff what's her name goes over to her house and brings like this girl over, makes her like she chips the glass so that it makes her on purpose so that when she drinks water, blood comes out.
Yeah.
And she's doing all this stuff, and the girl at first, the woman's like, get her out of here, I can't be around, this is too much temptation. And then of course, yeah, she does it even worse, and
it's like showing up to a former addict's house and doing coke and smoking pot right in front of them, and
you want some?
Yeah, you want a toke?
No, exactly.
Being a dick. But she's doing all that for reasons. A, she doesn't want to go to rehab in Phoenix, but then I think she's also just saying, you are who you are, just be who you are.
Which I think it would have been fun. There's a couple things I think they should have explored a little bit more. I would have liked to have seen the Phoenix rehab. That would have been cool. Damn it.
And then, they talked a whole thing about, the society and, the army was supplying them with the blood, and we didn't understand how that was happening. And then the FDA approved. It wasn't FDA approved. We didn't understand that part at all. That was really weird.
That would have been cool to explore all of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it just would have been cool to just kind of get into that. But they didn't have to. Like you said before to me, that it would have been cool if they did it as a TV show or something.
Yeah, if this had been prolonged into like a 10-episode series where you got to explore a lot of the background and where people came from and why some of them are doing some of the things they're doing, that could really be well done. I mean, I think it's fine as a movie in and of itself, but I think as a series this would make it a whole lot better. And I thought for a while they either did or were going to make The Hunger into a series. They may have done it already, and I just didn't have cable access to it.
I've never heard of it, so no, I don't think so.
So it's possible, but it's a fascinating concept. Plot-wise, there was some issues I did have. I think a lot of the plot depended on characters making very, very bad decisions.
I mean,
like
when you were like saying the Mimi gets into a car accident, and then she sees the sunlight, and we're like, okay, she's gonna let's see the sun stuff. But then you were like, why don't she just get in the trunk?
Right.
And that would have made more sense. But I guess when you're dealing with that thing, like you're not thinking. You're just like, I want to go home. And she was so close to home. And then the one chick came out and was like, nope, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. But I mean, the same thing with Paolo. Dude, the woman just bit your tongue in half practically, and you bled from it. It's dripping from her. That's the last time I'm going to see that chick.
No. If she's that obsessed, like, the whole idea was, like, she had power over him.
I guess.
That's the only thing I could imagine is because, like, she had some serious power over him.
It was a bad decision.
It was a bad decision. Like, there's a lot of bad decisions.
And then when Mimi shows up with this fake 17-year-old, that was a bad decision for Xenia to let him in. I'd have been like, get out.
Yeah, but... I mean, she didn't want to be rude to her fan, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Plus, I think, honestly, she wanted...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure underneath. And that's what Mimi knew.
Yeah,
she knows that.
She knew, like, deep down, like, they all want this.
They all do, right, exactly.
And everything. The other things are the guy hooks up with the girl, the sister, and then she doesn't tell him that was a bad idea. Then a girl kills the agent, remarkably by Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport, yay!
Wonderful, wonderful actor. We love him. And it was really sad to see him die, or whatever. But we knew that was going to happen. She was looking at his neck. There's already a lot of talk about, you knew that she was going to do that. So then she kills, so then they tell each other. And so at first I was like, oh no, he's going to tell her that he fucked her sister. So now all of a sudden, she's not going to want to be with them.
Didn't really put up a fight about it either.
I know, and then she didn't care because she had something to tell him. So then they were both like, okay, we both fucked up. Let's just keep going.
Let's just go to Italy.
Let's just go to Italy and just live our life. And they didn't even ask about Mimi. Where does Mimi?
Well, Mimi's fate is kind of left open, which is kind of interesting because when she's crawling back to the house and her skin's all blistering and turning black, and she's like, "Help me, help me!" and Irene, the housemaid, just kind of looks at her and then pulls out a cigarette and starts smoking and.
You're dead.
Because the head vampire is the one who hired her and likes her, so maybe she heard about what Mimi did to her.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So we figured she was going to be left to her fate to burn up. Well, towards the very, very end, spoilers aside, she's getting the other two to fly off to Italy, and then there's a big bag of garbage. It's like a black plastic bag, and it moves a little bit.
So you're like, okay, that could be this Mimi.
And she doesn't tell the other two about it either.
And the other two don't even just question it.
Yeah,
They're just
they don't
whatever.
care. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're wrapped up in each other. So either the Irene brought her in there to save her, or she brought her in there to dispose of her, and we don't really know.
So all in all, we thought this was a great movie.
Yeah, it was good.
It was fun. It had some slow moments, but for me, for a person who has very low attention span, and he knows this, it takes a lot. Sometimes I'll just get really, really bored. I loved it. I had a great time, enjoyed it. There's slow parts that, I kind of let it go and waited, and then there were some amazing scenes that were just
there's
really
some
well
really
done.
well done scenes. Some of the pacing I had a little problem with it because I like a slow burn, but it seemed sometimes it was a little padded. We didn't really need to see the establishing shot of the house over and over and over.
I thought the whole point was to show it was daytime or nighttime or whatever on that. So it didn't.
But sometimes you would see it and then you'd immediately go to a scene that was dark outside. So I'm like, well, why are we seeing that?
Right.
So I don't know. But overall, I still think this was a really good film. And hell, if this is you're seeing this at the dollar store, for a Blu-ray. Yeah, I would definitely say get it. And
I'd say get it.
This comes with some extra stuff here. Doesn't it? Some special features.
Commentary by the writer-director.
I want to check that out.
Interview with the main chick. Interview with Mimi. AXS TV interview with Milo. AXS TV interview with
there we go.
Mimi, and theatrical trailers.
So there you go. For $1, that's a really good bargain to get kind of a really cool modern day twist on a vampire thing, even though like I said, plot-wise, it's not something I hadn't seen before in other films, but it was still very well done.
All in all, we say go check it out if you get a chance to. If you don't get a chance to, if you see it on streaming or something, it's worth a watch. Just get past the first 30 minutes of the movie or so, and then it'll really start picking up.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Thank you, and thank you, Xan, for making this movie. I'm looking forward to watching more movies by you.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. And hope you guys enjoyed this one.
All right. We will see you next time.
Okay.
Indie Film Cafes, Short Review Thursdays.
Quick review Thursdays, but it's okay.
Quick and short.
It is what it is.
We will see you next time.